Welcome. Welcome to our very last question session together. You guys have been the most hardcore class. I'm very impressed with your diligence and your hard work. The last time we were together, you had picked a picture to go. Well, I think the grade fours had picked a picture to go with one curriculum. The grade fives had picked a different picture. Miss Thompson, can you just hold the pictures up to the screen so I can see the ones that you copied?
Yes, so this was the grade fives.
Ooh, very interesting.
And
Okay.
this was grade fours.
Is that a castle?
It's a castle, yep.
Oh, very cool. Okay. And then remind me, what were you supposed to do with those pictures?
They were supposed to bring it home and show their parents, and their parents were supposed to ask a question about the picture.
Students, if your parents, if your family, if anyone, it could have been any adult in your family, if any adults helped you and did their homework, put up your hand. Oh, tell them I said, well done. And so you have the questions. Now, students, do you have those questions with you?
I have them right here. I'll hand them out.
All right. While they're handing them out, I don't want to move desks. Miss Thompson, I'll ask your opinion. Do you think it would be functional and not too disruptive to have students pair just by moving chairs closer together?
Yeah, that's fine.
And if you feel free to guide that process. And students also, when you're getting paired up, and if somebody needs to be in a group of three, that's okay. When you're making a buddy or truddy, you also want to take out your deep learning question notebook because we'll be using that today. So students, you can be getting out your notebook and a pencil and an eraser. You need three things: notebook, pencil, eraser.
All right, if you have your picture and your notebook and a pencil, make sure you're finding a partner.
Oh, I hear pencils being sharpened. Excellent. That means you're going to do great printing, I'm sure. Excellent. 2 or 3 people, each at a desk. 2 or 3 people can gather around each desk. Pencil and your notebook.
Dad, I've almost given up my half of soft pencil. Hey, boys at the back, if you need help sharpening a pencil so that it goes quicker, come in to me.
Nicely done, everybody. I'm impressed by how quickly you got all that organized. Well done. Okay. While people are still just settling, while the last few people settle, my question is, actually, first, before we do a question, we'll read the success criteria. You may remember that we worked on the success criteria for a starter question. A starter question is one that's an easy answer, one number, one word. You can Google it really quickly. A deep question has different success criteria. So up here on the board, you can see the success criteria for a deep question. You know a question is really deep if you have to contact an expert to gather the information needed to support your answer. So if you were working on, do you remember we were asked those amazing questions about DigiDog? And you asked some really cool questions. Some of those you couldn't answer just by Googling because the topic is so new. You might have to actually email the people directly involved in that project to find out more. So that's an example of a deep question. Another way you know your question is deep is if you have to gather primary data to fully answer. So primary data means that you're the first one to gather that data. So for example, if you were asking, if your deep question was, how can we help students feel more happiness at recess? You here at St. Francis, that's a really specific question. You might need to survey all the students at this school to find out what would make them happier at recess. So you would be generating brand new information that is not on the internet. That's a deep question. So put up your hand and give me a yes if you think you get the idea of a deep question. You can shake. This is yes. In that language, yep. Okay. Now that you know what a deep question is, the questions your family wrote, were they deep questions or were they starter questions? I want you to share your questions with partners and decide if they are deep already or if they are starter questions.
I kept all of them in the file cases. And we have Alice, Brandon, and Dan.
I am hearing so much chatter. I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you mind if I interrupt for a second?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. So if your family gave you a starter question, show me number 1 with your finger. Okay. If the question your family shared was more like a deep question, give me a number 2. Okay. Wow. Awesome. Now, would you want to share any of your starter questions with me? Maybe Ms. Thompson, just get them to share 2. 1 from each picture.
Mika and Brayden. You may want to go up where they can hear you.
Okay, Brayden, what was your starter question?
Is he selling or trading this item?
Ooh, good. Okay, Mika.
Is there an indoor pool or a hot tub?
I love that question. That would be fun if the answer is yes. Okay, now, ready? This is what we're going to do next. You have your notebook out, your question notebook. And on the very first page, there's a space to write a starter question. So what we're going to do is your family question, we're going to write that there if it's a starter question. If your family didn't give you a starter question, you're going to have to borrow a starter question from somebody else. So everyone in their notebook is going to quickly write down 1 starter question.
So write down the starter question your mom or dad or Al gave you. We can figure that out. First page. This is not the right one. Is this the only one you have? And you'll have to use all of these are you write down one in your book. Where's your
What happens if you're
you can copy that one down.
Okay.
One question from this. Write one question down.
what happens if your question was
Everyone is writing one starter question in their notebook. First. And just for the purpose of my video, Sienna, can I ask you a favor, Sienna? Do you mind bringing your notebook right up to the camera so I can look at it? Awesome.
So write a starter question.
Nice. Okay. And where's the page where it has the prompts on it?
We didn't get those glued in.
didn't get glued in.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's right. No big deal. A bit on the first page, we're gonna write that starter question. So get that done. Zippy quick. Yep. Good thing I put prompts up here on the slide deck. That's good. Okay. So you write starter question. Miss Thompson, when you suspect most people have their starter question on their page, let me know and I'll carry on.
I think about 99% are done.
Okay. Now the next part takes a little time, so it's okay if a few people are still catching up. So here are some question stems that can help you transform a starter question into a magnificent deep question. You could use any of these. I'm going to read them out loud. Why would? What if? How come? Or why is? Will there? How could? Is there a connection? Are there? So you're not using all of those. What you're doing is you're looking at your starter question that you picked or that your family worked on with you together. And we're going to transform it into a deep question using one of those stems. Now, this part's independent. I know you're sitting near someone right now, but right now you're doing your own deep question. And I'll give you lots of time to do it.
So you're going to pick one of those question stems that are on the board and think about a new question about your picture using one of those question stems.
When you have a magnificent deep question written down, you can share it with me.
We're looking at these questions, we're using one of those questions. Why would? Will there? How could? Are there? It's what's on the board. What if?
What if?
No, you choose one. You asking me questions about this.
All right. And when you have your deep question ready to go, let Miss Thompson know. And I changed my mind. I forgot. Actually, I forgot. There's a step before you share it with me. We're not ready for you to share it with me yet. There's one more thing we have to do.
What is the beginning of your question?
Now, just curious, put up your hand if you've got a question written down that you think might be deep.
What?
Okay, I see some hands. Good. I'll let you know what the next thing is. The next step is that when you've got your maybe deep question, you're going to share it with your partner, and they're going to give you feedback and help you decide if it is truly deep or if it needs some adjustments.
Those are like sentence starters. You have to start with that.
Okay. Just so you know what the next step is, as soon as you've received feedback from a friend and improved your question, then you're ready to share. So keep chatting with your friend if you need to. You've written a question, you've taken feedback from a friend, improved it, then you're ready to share. And feedback from Ms. Thompson counts.
We're trying to get the questions, we're looking at those prompts on the trying to why or is there a step?
Is anybody ready to share their improved feedback, enhanced deep question?
I have one that I think is great, but he doesn't want to share it, so I will share it for him.
Okay, anonymous sharing. I'm excited, very excited.
So his question is, what if the time period was 1300 AD? Would this be one of the last castles built?
Ooh, that sounds like a very deep question in which I would guess we'd need to contact an expert to find out something so detailed. Awesome. Thank you for sharing anonymously. Thank you.
Okay. Also
Deep
doesn't now it's shorter, but what if they never traded? So mostly speaking, what happened if trade didn't happen between the Europeans and the First Nations groups in Canada when the first contact happened?
Oh, that would maybe really change the history. And when you're talking about changing history, if you contacted an expert, they would probably help you look at a similar situation where it went differently the way you're suggesting, and then you could compare the outcomes. That's a really deep question. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm really impressed with these deep thinkers today.
You have another one that wants to share?
Yay, come on up.
What would happen if they didn't sell items?
Oh, interesting. And especially when we're talking about the difference between selling and something else. So I'm going to give you a bit of feedback, Braden. I think that maybe we need to like add more details to that question to get to that idea of, maybe they didn't sell, maybe they instead, do you know what I mean? I feel like we could add more, but still a really deep question. Awesome.
All right, Afi.
And Akfi, who gave you feedback to improve your question?
Natessa.
Thanks, Natessa. Good job. Good team.
Is there a connection with the medieval times?
Is there a connection
with the medieval times?
Ooh, in that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to write that in. Is there a connection between this picture and the medieval times? And how could we look for the answers?
By researching.
Researching would be good. Yep. And would you need to contact an expert for sure? Or would it help? Would it help to contact an expert?
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely, because they might see things in the picture that we don't connect to medieval times, maybe because we don't really know enough yet. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right, we can move on if we're all done sharing, or someone else. Oh, I see hands.
Why would they be selling the stuff in his hand?
Oh, good question. Why would they be selling that thing in particular? Thank you.
Anybody else? Jason?
Hi, Kason.
What if the Europeans never came to Canada?
Oh, wow. That's a very big what if. And I think it would require a lot of expertise to get to the bottom of that. Okay. Wow, everybody. So if you keep practicing this, start with a starter question, use Bloom's taxonomies to enhance your question. You will never run out of great questions. It's important that you do stuff like this. Do you remember early on we talked about how when you're asking questions, it changes your brain? So right now, in the room, in front of my eyes, you have been working on your creativity skills. So in your notebook, you're going to document this as evidence of learning. You're going to write down, on June 19th, I took a starter question and created a deep question. This is evidence that you have been working on the Catholic graduate expectation of creativity. Write that down. The Catholic graduate expectations, so there's the overall sort of expectations, and this is like a specific expectation. It says, I can combine my ideas with others to create new ideas. And that's what you did today. You were creating ideas. Sometimes we think of creativity as only being art or crafts, but creativity is about really exciting ideas too. So you're writing that sentence down. On June 19th, I took a starter question. You can skip that middle part if you want, and created a deep question. I am your witness. And you have to document that evidence of learning for the world to see. And it's a little, because our sessions ran late in the year, maybe not at this point in time, but for your information, Ms. Thompson, this type of stuff, excellent for learning skills comments for report cards. Yes. All right. So you've got that written down. And guess what? You were also working on creativity. Oh, wait, no, we're going to skip this one. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, sorry. I forgot. These are all about creativity. These are all the evidence of creativity. So one of the specific expectations for creativity is I ask deep questions in a variety of situations. So early on in our session, you asked questions about trees, and then you asked questions about a robot dog, and now you're asking questions about history. So further evidence of your creativity, you can say, I created a deep question about, and then you write what your question today was about. So you write that in your notebook. More evidence of learning. You are proving to the world and documenting for your own self that you are becoming a more creative person today. You're going to tell me what your question was about today. Was it about early settlements? Was it about castles, medieval castles? Today I created a deep question about. Write that down.
Right, first contact versus what contact.
Okay, and we don't need to write this last one, but interesting. You were also working on creativity because today you were able to prove that you can represent abstract thoughts in a variety of ways. So you took thoughts that were presented in a picture and you represented it in a new way through a question. Again, you were showing creativity by taking information from a picture and representing it as a question. I'm very impressed. Okay, now, all through our sessions together, you have been working on creativity. You've been working on communication. You've been working on collaboration. So there was a lot of collaboration going on today. There are many Catholic graduate expectations that you have been working on. Also, you've been working on learning skills. You were responsible when you communicated to your family the need to do this homework, and then when you brought it all back. You demonstrated initiative when you were preparing all of this work. You demonstrated courage and an initiative, really, when you were sharing your questions today with the class. That demonstrates a lot of initiative. So what we were working on, the Catholic graduate expectations, but also you were demonstrating how good you are at your learning skills. Can everybody pat themselves on the back? So next year, if you want to impress your teachers, if you want to impress your family, always ask deep questions at the beginning of a new unit. When you get into history, when you get into social studies, when you get into science, impress everybody by coming up with these deep questions, because it's going to be changing your brain for the better every time you do it. And if we had more time this year, if you kept practicing writing deep questions and getting feedback from your peers, then we would be well on our way through this assessment roadmap, where we've covered assessment for learning by you practicing. Today you were practicing assessment for learning when you were having a peer look at your question and give you advice, and then you changed it. So amazing. Can you everybody clap for this amazing class? You are all done. You have officially graduated from the Assessment for Learning Deep Questions seminar. I'm very impressed. And just in time for recess. Excellent.
Awesome.
Thanks, Miss Thompson's class. You guys are awesome. Bye.
Bye.